Welcome back, everybody.
Thanks very much. And Tracy, just to answer your question, no, they are different. The four sessions that I'm doing that are sitting out a wee bit separate. So if you guys haven't seen this, I'm also doing a Gemini teacher series. They're kind of designed for people wanting to look at a different approach and a few different things to go in with. So it's where we are focusing purely on the sort of the Google tools. This one today, we're actually going to be using the other company's tools. We're going to be looking at Microsoft Learning Accelerators today, but that's all stuff that we have access to, obviously, as part of our Glow 365 instance and things of that nature. So that's also a really important one to have. So let me just share my screen here. And Pam, look at this. It generated the minute the call stopped, it generated.
Oh,
Right,
that's
so in
just
the last
typical.
session,
Oh, wow, yeah.
we were working with head teachers, and we were talking about using the slide generation feature within Notebook LM, and I had the content that we're actually going to be covering today, and the fact that it was taking ages, and the minute the call stopped, so it was obviously it couldn't do two things at once. It couldn't broadcast my screen and generate the slides at the same time. So I'm just going to use these because I spent so long trying to generate it. It's going to talk to a few different things, but this is actually going to be more of a hands-on again. If you guys are wanting to play along, that's absolutely fine. I do have, I've got a link to a couple of files that you can download and you can take away at the end. So I'll post those links in, including the feedback form. Appreciate your feedback as always. The fact that this is session number 5 and we are listening to what you guys are needing, we are seeing what you guys are needing. We're also delighted that you guys are actually giving it a go. And there's going to be a wee bit of time, just about 10 minutes from the end, for you guys to actually ask for a little bit of coordinated support. Is there anything you want to find out a bit more? Because I know we've got a face-to-face in June, but we might also be able to try and wrangle a wee extra online session that focuses directly on whatever comes up during the consensus. But as Pam, Pam and I talk regularly along with Susan, and we look at the various things. And obviously, we've done a fair bit of work in Gemini, Google, Notebook LM, and Adobe Express, and we know that a lot of people are using Adobe Express and loving it, and well done, because we all do. Um, and the other tools that we have available to us that we spoke about before are the learning accelerators. And there's a few various aspects to that. There's the teach module that you might have seen. There's the learning accelerators that are built into Teams. And there's obviously the coaching tools. Now, this is quite beneficial because it works at both a primary and a secondary level. And it's all based on the content. It's all based on the E's and O's that you might want to work to. So we can split this up into two ways. There's a dedicated teach module itself, which I'll show you in a wee second. You can find that through your Microsoft instance within Glow, or we can find it via Teams when we actually generate an assignment. So there's two various ways that we can do it. One that is integrated into everything you're doing, kind of like Classroom has Gemini and Notebook LM. Teams has this stuff built in. Um, so there's two ways to get to this. I think if there was ever only one way, technology would go nuts. But the fact that technology basically gives you a front door, a back door, it gives you a garage entrance, it gives you the open window at the top. There are various ways to get inside the house. It's maybe not the best analogy, but you get the idea. There are various entrances that we can use to using these tools. Essentially, we can narrow this down to, the subject area, the age group, and even the language that we're wanting to use this in. And then we use Microsoft Copilot. We give it a prompt. And again, the clearer you are with your prompt, the more accurate your quiz is going to be. So it's coming down to what do we have available to us? How can we use it? How is it going to help me do my job a little bit faster? And we were again in the previous session, and I've spoken about this to you guys quite regularly. It's about efficiency. expertise is a misnomer, right? We're never going to get to be an expert level status, right? No one is, because it's an arbitrary term that no one can ever really. If you call yourself an expert in something, you're just really, really good. And the only way you get really, really good at something is by doing it more and more and more. And the more you do it, the better you become, the more efficient you become. It's kind of a paradox, right? The steam engine was meant to help us use less coal because it was going to do things faster and it was going to generate the energy through steam. But then what happened was, because it was more efficient, we ended up using more coal, right? LED lights were meant to help us use less electricity, but you know what? It just meant we could get more lights cheaper. So it meant that we ended up using more electricity. These tools are meant to help us save time. What they actually do is they give us more time to do the same thing, and we can just do more of it in the same amount of time. So a job that used to take me 1 hour can now be two jobs that take half an hour. I still have that hour. I've just done more work. So we can take, and these slides are great, but it's sometimes a good idea to show you these in action. So let's switch tabs to my Glow Launchpad. There we go. So within your Microsoft instance within Glow, and you can get to this in a number of ways. I always just have OneDrive open. Or OneDrive sitting as a tab because it gives me my 3x3 grid up in the corner. So whenever I'm logged in, this is how I'm going to use the teach module, and we'll look at the learning accelerators as we go through. But if I go to my module, there we go, and I go to my Microsoft 365 Copilot, and you have this as part of your Microsoft instance, this opens up my Microsoft 365 dashboard, right? And it gives me this. And this is where you can get quick access to your files. This is where you can find the library. It's where you can go into create, for example, and this will allow you to create a file. So I could say, even with this, I want to create an image, claymation man with a grey beard, no hair, glasses, and a metallic right arm, holding a laptop, wearing glasses. Okay. So again, this is just using the Microsoft 365. This is using Copilot to create something. So we have this creative tool that's built in. This is Microsoft Designer that we have. We only get so many of these that we're able to do. But it's, is it as good? Yes, absolutely, Pam. The prompt is what separates it. It's what is it? It's helping. It's also including the use of capitals. So the phrase "helping your Uncle Jack off a horse" or "helping your uncle jack off a horse." There's various ways. It's all about phrasing, but it's even about the way that you create your character, and you create these types of things. So you could create this as a starter image to use, or this is an image that you could use elsewhere. So you can see it's actually given me a metallic left arm, but it has made me the next Wallace and Gromit. Sorry, Ruth, I didn't mean to scare your cat. But there's the next Wallace and Gromit. It's more metallic Martin, and the loopy laptop, I think, is going to be the name of the show here. But that's another AI tool that we have available to us, or generative AI tool. And there's various things that we can do. So we don't always know that these tools are here. And right now, this is just teachers that have access to this. So this is obviously another way that you can start to add in various visuals. So you can see I could add in some text. And if you've been using Adobe Express, this is very, very similar. So it's just another tool within the arsenal. However, down on the left-hand side here, it's this teach module I want to talk about. So within this teach module, this is going to use generative AI to help us create things that are specific to the subject area that we are teaching, or specific to the topic that we are teaching. So you can see I could structure an entire course. I could create a detailed lesson plan using that structure. So it's split into three areas: curriculum planning, which gives me a lesson plan. So you can see there's only limited tools. I think there's only one tool in each option just now. Homework and assessments allows me to create a rubric or a quiz, which is the new option. And study aids helps me to create flashcards or fill in the blanks. So these all use generative AI to help us create things. So within homework and assessments, I can create a quiz. So let's do that just now. I can choose the subject. Well, let's take mathematics. Grade level. Unfortunately, the only thing with this is the grade levels are set at American. However, what could we do with generative AI? Why don't we get generative AI to give me a comprehensive list of what the grade levels equivalencies are to Scottish levels? And in any good Blue Peter fashion, I did that earlier where, come on, that was all that. Signing in stuff, malarkey, shocking. Yes, in any good Blue Peter fashion, I created one earlier. So Scottish education versus US K-12. So I can see here, right, primary 6 is 5th grade, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be creating a quiz for my primary 6 class based on, now what I can do is I can make the standards match up with CFE. So that's the one good thing to take away from this. The grade level, again, you get used to that, but this is a real kind of good use. All I said here was give me the Scottish education equivalencies to K-12. So it means that I will still aim this at the right age level, the right age and stage level. But there's a thing I want you to think about when you're using this, and I didn't mention this to you before, but I did this last night. So Tracy, you were on the call last night. Um, and as you were looking at it, you saw that I gave you four things to work within. And those four things were, let me just show you quickly. So when you're creating a prompt, you know how Pam is saying about the mastery of prompting and all these types of things. I only become a mastery at prompt because I use prompts every day. But I live by a kind of a mantra with my prompting, and that is using the golden prompt framework. And that's something I want you guys to think about. Now, this is something that AI helped me generate, but it makes so much sense. So when you are creating your prompts, I want you to think about defining your role, giving it a context, setting it a task, but also giving it the constraint. So the constraint could be I am a Scottish primary teacher working with primary 6 pupils, and I am introducing the Titanic. I want 3 facts about this that I can use as an introduction. The constraint is my pupils are low ability and their reading level is only at primary 3 age. So the text that the AI then generates is at the appropriate level based on the constraint. Or things like do not use common US language, do not use dollars, make sure that all of the monetary, make sure that all of the information is relevant to where we are in the world. Give it a Scottish context. So think about that as you are going through, folks, that golden ratio, that golden prompt. And absolutely, Pam, the fact that all of this is sitting within our toolkit, and our toolkit doesn't necessarily become dependent on I don't have the right device. It's now if I can I remember my password. That's all it is. It's not you need to be on this device, you need to be on that device. Now we can just kind of we're we are getting to the way the world is working, where it's not just an iPad or a Chromebook or a laptop, it's the services that we are using, and the services are becoming truly device agnostic. And as someone who used to be very much in the one camp and no, not in this camp and not in that camp, I'm now very much, I've become Switzerland. I'm very much in you know, all of the camps can come to me now. I'm quite happy with that. So think about that prompt when you are asking generative AI to create anything. I'm going to just stop for a pause there because I realise I've been going on for about 15 minutes or so. Is everybody happy so far? Give me a thumbs up if yes, or put your hand up if there's anything you want me just to go over one more time. But if you're generally happy with what I've been saying so far, and you're happy with the tools that you're seeing, that's grand. Perfect. Thanks, folks. You know me, pretty relaxed, but I am Mr. Tangent, so bring me back onto the right path. Because I want to make sure that what you guys are seeing is going to be useful. Okay, so back to our teach option. What we have here is obviously we've used generative AI to give me my prompt. I want to set this for grade 5 because that's primary 6 level. I will keep my language right now at, it stays at United States, but what I can do is I can change my standards. So if I tap on standards, first of all, and you can see there's roughly 38 standards from different countries, as well as all 50 US states. But I'm just going to choose Scotland Curriculum for Excellence. Select grade. Well, the grade was grade 5. Subject area is maths, and the strand is second level numeracy because that's grade 5, what they should be working at. We are doing a quiz on what we're going to do. Let's do number and number processes. And we want to do a quiz on order of operations. Who doesn't love BODMAS? So we're going to do that. And let's include some negative numbers. Right, so let's add that. And let's say a quiz on solving simple problems using order of operations. Include some questions about negative numbers and make the reading age 1 grade below the target level. Okay. Quiz 10 questions. That's the minimum. Minimum 10 questions. Time limit, but no time limit. And we're going to put a practice mode. So let's generate. Here we go. So it's now going to generate my quiz. Essentially what it's doing here is a form. Okay, it's doing a form, but it's generating it for us. And it's the same way that the quiz feature within Google Gemini can also do this. It will generate my questions for me. Now I can go through and I can see how these are going to look. Okay, so I'm reviewing your form. Right. So correct answer is 11. Yeah. So order of operations 9. There we go. Some negative numbers. Negative 5 plus 8, good. Order of operations, so that's looking okay. I could go through, I could add some new questions, and it's got 3 suggestions. So let's view the details, see what we've got. So it's given me some edits. So enabling receipts and setting an end date. Okay, that looks quite good. That's a bit too late, so let's untick that one. And apply just the one so that they can get a copy of the results. Boost your response, maximizing audience, nah, that's okay. Let's add a math themed background. You can tell it's American because they use the dreaded word math. It's maths. Math is plural. Let's go with this one though. That's looking okay. Let's keep it. and I think we're good. So let's save. So what it's done here is it's generated a form for me, right? But it's done it using the quiz. Yeah, it's absolutely right. It's plural. It is plural. And we need to make sure that that's looking quite good. So I could collect responses now. So I could say, it's given me everything I need, but I could say, right, anyone can respond. I could shorten the URL, but let's just copy it. And I could put that into various parts. Outlook, I could put it into Teams. I could tap send, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. I'm not going to send it just now. I could add a Teams channel, so I could put it directly in. And from your own PowerPoint or Word document, I think what you could do there, Mrs. Simsador, I can't actually say I've tried that, to be honest. But what you could try, certainly using Gemini, is putting up your Gemini would do that for you within Google Classroom. I'm not 100% sure. Possibly could do it. Let's try that. Let's actually try that. That's the best way to test it. But anyway, back to this just for a wee sec. I put that into the chat. You guys should now have a link to it where you can do that, right? So you can put that in. So that's how we create it using the and it stays within your history. So that's how you use it using the teach module. It gives you resources that if you need a bit of additional tools, it also looks at the learning accelerators and how they can be used. Now, from the quiz aspect within Teams, what we should be able to do is if I switch to my Teams tab, let's just stop for a wee second. Just before I look at the thing with the PowerPoint, how was that for everybody else? Was that okay? Awesome. Great. Superb. That's good. So hopefully you'll get a chance to give that a go. And actually, we'll maybe take a couple of minutes to see if you can actually generate a quiz and actually have a go with it as you're logged in. So within our assignments, so if I go to assignments, I have two that are here that I'm going to talk to you about in a wee minute, but I'm going to create a new one. Okay, so you can actually see it's built in here. It says go to teach, generate quiz. It gives you the instructions that you need. Generate quiz, generate lesson plans, generate. So Teams is now beginning to tell us that these tools are available. But when I go to create and I go to quiz, I can add a quiz, which has always been there, but as I start to create it, it's giving me the draft with Copilot. Now, what you have here, Mrs. Dornan Simpson, is that ability to attach. So I could attach a file, and it could be a Word document. So let's go with, I don't think I have a lot. It's all sitting in my docs. But this is where I could type in a file using this file as a template, draft a quiz based on the content. So you could do it within that way as well. Within the that's your drafting with Copilot. It doesn't necessarily align to the standards, so I generally tend to use the teach aspect more so, and then add it in. Yeah, I'm getting used to the Copilot stuff as well, Ruth. It's definitely growing arms and legs, I will say. It's definitely getting a little bit, the fill in the blanks one is quite good. If I show you this one, um, this is another tool that we could use. You could say, right, allow AI to edit content for exercises in Medium. So I could add some content. So let's see. And here's what I could do to kind of bring it in together. Create a passage, or a minute, we're talking about learning accelerators, aren't we? Right, so coach.microsoft. Let's see if I can remember this. Coach.microsoft.com. How we get the reading coach? Yes. So reading coach can generate a passage for me. However, I could use Gemini, I could create my passage, I could do any of these aspects that I want to do. So I need to remember to switch my tab. And if I'm talking about something that doesn't match up what you guys are saying, if only it could, well, it it could give you the talking points. You could say, so I know it's a bit of a tangent, however, just to show you, right? I am just to show you how generative AI can do this. I am a Scottish secondary maths teacher writing reports for my S1 class. We have covered the following topics: algebra, shape, area, and volume at level 3. So again, prompting, role, context, constraints. Generate 3 report comment templates for someone who has achieved most and has worked well. Someone who has worked well but achieved some, and someone who is a disruption and struggled. This is where my typing's really slow. It's usually a lot faster. Right, so I always ask for 3. Always ask for the context. Do not include names, but rather generic terms such as pupil, and use professional teacher speak in UK English only. So again, it comes down to the level of prompt that could do that. It's the constraint you put in, it's the level of detail. So it's given me 3 comments based on the areas, based on the stuff, the focus that we have. And it could give you a starter of some of the things to say. I hate to use the term that comes from Chewing the Fat that we all know we use, good guy, good guy, good guy. That term that we sometimes do that we don't mean to, but it does give us a starter for 10. However, back to learning accelerators. Generate a simple passage on the Titanic aimed at primary 6 pupils with a level 1 reading comprehension to use in a fill in the blanks quiz. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to generate a passage that we have here. Right, so let's copy the text. Let's go back to our teach module. So let's share this tab. So you can see I'm on teach. Let's generate a study aid. So let's go to study aids, fill in the blanks. Let's paste my notes. Okay, allow AI to edit content for exercises. And let's generate. So AI is going to enhance it. It's going to go through. It's going to generate the text. Okay. I could say, right, add a blank. So here we have make the passage simpler, aimed at 10-year-old pupils. Okay. Current format, yeah. Difficulty, let's make it a bit easier. Let's regenerate. So again, this is going to generate a task or activity. This could be based. There we go. So that would work quite good. Let's save that. That would work quite good. Maybe it could help me with the phrasing that I should use. That would work quite well. Let's save the activity. Right, let's fill in the blanks. And then all I need to do is take this this link. Let's copy it. Right, where I could share. So let's share the activity. I could say, right, you go to this and you enter in this code. So let's see if this works. Let's copy the link address. Let's put that into the chat. Absolutely, not a problem at all. I'll show you that, how to access Copilot through Glow. So let's try this learning activity though. So I put the text in. Have I? Now where am I? There. And it'll ask for a code. And you should get that one. So to access Copilot through Glow, when you're logged into Glow, go to OneDrive. Right. So let me just, I'll show you that just in a wee second. But let me see if this is working. So if you click on that link and then enter in that code, I think you might be able to use the fill in the blanks activity, and we'll see if this goes. So 918169, I'll put that into the chat as well. You can see how generative AI can give us this activity to try. It'll give me some feedbacks as well. Some feedback with it as well. So to access 365, sorry, Glow, when you're on Glow, I have a OneDrive tab or a Mail tab, but basically anything that has your Microsoft 365. When you're there on any of these, you'll see that you have your 9-dot grid, your 3x3. When you tap on that, that gives you Microsoft 365 Copilot. You can also see it gives you quick access to learning activities. Now this is like your app shortcut to get to within Microsoft 365. So it's called Copilot in that regard. You could also just go to m365.cloud.microsoft and it will give you this. And then we are now working within the Teach tab. And anything that says create with 365 is being generated using AI. Okay. So I don't know if that's been working. You can let me know if it has been. There should be, yes. So if you notice just on my grid, so you're looking up here, it should be the first one that's there. If not, you might just have to look for Copilot to see if it's there, but it should be at that aspect that's there. Here we go. Okay, it might be under more apps. So you might just have to go to more apps and it should bring it up. Okay, that's another way to do it. It's just by tapping more apps and it brings it. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. You have got it. Great. Now, that's learning activities. That's obviously how we can create them using Microsoft 365, how we can bring things together, how we can use things using different parts such as Copilot. And we can see that One was a challenging blank, and that was 1912. So again, that might mean for my feedback, I need to go back and say, right, what is it that we haven't, maybe I haven't covered the 1912 aspect. Maybe we didn't go over the year that they need to know things. And that's obviously going to be a big part of it. And that's learning activities. All right. Any questions at that point? Or if you're happy with that, I'll maybe have a look at the learning accelerators next. Perfect. Thanks, Ruth. Okay. Do you guys want a couple of minutes to have a play with the teach stuff? Let's see, a thumbs up if you want, 5 minutes to have a go at that. We'll come back, or 7 minutes. We'll come back at 1:15. So thumbs up if you want a couple of. Yeah, you just copy and paste, Miss Artis. You can just copy and paste it into a document. If not, you will just see a history of them just sitting. So you can see the histories are just sitting on your uh, uh, teaching tools page. You can see that it's all just there. All right. So how about we give it a couple of minutes, let you guys just have a play, make sure you can all find it, make sure that you're able to see exactly what's there. Obviously, you can do it within this and link it to a Teams channel. You can do this within Teams. I quite like working here because generally what Teams seems to do now is it kicks you off to this teach site. So you may as well cut out the middleman and just create your task that way and doing it in that regard. But let's come back just in about 5 minutes, just after everybody kind of seen a few different things. All right. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat or come off mute. There's only sort of 15 of us, so it's a small group, but we are mighty. Yeah, yeah. The summary of changes is good. You can what I also quite like is you're able to upload a document even into even sort of looking at the comments and sort of looking at them and getting a summary of exactly you can look at it and you can see about the outcomes. You could upload their essay and find out whether they've been hitting the targets. You can use that using Gemini as long as you have permission. If it's just a generic essay that they've been writing, as long as there's no personal sensitive information to it. Anyone else not been able to find it, or anyone else not seeing where they might use it? So hopefully you're at least having a go at maybe either generating the quiz or generating, just having a play. If it's targeted with what you are currently doing, great. If not, you've obviously got lots of different options that you can play with. I'm trying to be as generic as possible. It's easy for me just to go down the maths route or go down the digital route, but trying to give you as much of a generic, this is where you could get started from it, as I've done with most of the content I've been sharing, without necessarily making you feel that it's only appropriate for the sciences or appropriate for literacy. There's obviously going to be it can be shaped and molded to fit with your particular curricular need. Okay, so because we've got a wee bit of time, we're actually doing quite well for time today. We might even get finished a wee bit early, so that you're not sitting here right up until 4:30, but you at least have a chance to go and do some stuff towards the end. It's like when the teacher's away and you're left with the sub. Pam's not here, so we could get out 5 minutes early. Oh wait, this has been recorded, isn't it? She knows me well enough. It's fine. Um, okay. So one of the other tools that we have in our toolkit, in our pencil case, is the learning accelerators. Now, learning accelerators, I've mentioned before. The only one that we really looked at if you can think back all the way to the first session, the one that we really looked at was the reading coach, and how reading coach was quite good at giving you the opportunity to hear how a pupil was working, how they were finding the information, whether that was all sort of going well. What we have at our disposal within learning accelerators are, things that can help our pupils develop digital skills, their research skills, their information skills, and bringing all of the content together. I've got a class team here that I use as an example, and you can see I've actually generated two assignments, one on digital literacy and one on literacy preview. And these have been used as a way to get my learners to share. Now, only 2 out of my 4 learners have done the work, so the other 2 are going to, I'm going to have a bit of a discussion with them. However, if I look at the assignments that have already been generated, I'll show you how I generated them and how they look together. So this first assignment was a future of education. You can see both Brian and Eva have turned in. So let's look at Eva's, just because we know Eva is fab and she will do loads. So this one I have done here is been the search progress, which I think is a great learning accelerator. What I have asked here is I've given them a task and asked them to search based on the question that I have asked. I've given them various aspects that they can go into, the benefits and challenges of AI, and I've given them a file. So I've given them the content that they search for and asked them to use the integrated search coach tool to find 3 reliable sources regarding the use of artificial intelligence in schools. Use the search coach tab below to find information. Try using a domain filter, i.e. .edu.gov, to find academic or official sources. Now, what I did here was I again used Gemini as a combination, and I said, I am an education technology coach. I am doing a demo for educators on the use of learning accelerators within Teams. Generate 3 example activities that I can set to my learners to showcase the hook, to showcase to you guys what is quite good here. So I have, and I can view the history to see what Eva has done. So this is all the same with assignments, but as I look at her search progress, I could see, right, let's see what we've got, and I can go through and I could see, right, feedback I can enhance with Copilot. I can see what her assignment was, and I can see, right, she found this document. All right. I can go through and I can see, right, she's found a document that is the role of artificial intelligence. It's an education journal. That looks okay. If I tap on that, that'll take me to the site. All right, not looking too bad. Let me see her search progress. Right, so she did 2 searches. So if I tap on those 2 searches, I could see, right, she did benefits and challenges, found it. All right, that's looking fine. Look at your searches, no reflection was added. Okay, so I could add in some feedback, that's fine. But let's look at the other activity. So let's look at the other assignment and go with the literacy preview. Let's go with this, because this one was a text I generated. And I've got a 1-minute video of Eva. I've got a 93% accuracy. I have the passage that has been generated and how we are going through. So let's just make sure that my audio is being shared so that you guys can hear it. If not, it's all right. So it's recording her.
Strong winds that move in a circular pattern. The calm area in the centre is called the eye. These storms have different names based on where they occur. In the Atlantic Ocean, they are known as hurricanes, while in the Pacific Ocean, they are called typhoons.
Okay, so I haven't shared the audio with that, but I'm hearing it quite well. Accuracy. So she's got 10 mispronunciations. It's given me a few, and obviously I asked Eva to do that. What I quite like though, and Ruth, you'll have seen this, is when you enhance it, you can actually use the feedback with it. So I could say, that was great, Eva. You made some great progress. We can maybe do some reading coach work to help with the words you struggled on. I can enhance my feedback. Obviously, I want to enhance it for, well, it should be English. There we go. It's English United States. That's the only issue. Tap OK. It's going to generate my text. Yeah, hugely, hugely. So I can try it. I could say, right, instructional, grade level. We're working at grade 5. So for someone like me who, can not be as in depth with my feedback, AI is helping me kind of give more targeted feedback, more useful feedback that is going to be suitable for my for my learner. I'm going to keep it and I'm going to return. I quite like the reflect aspect as well. It's giving me the video. That's great. Okay. We know how to create tasks. We know how to create assignments. But what I love about the Learning Accelerator is obviously the fact that we've got the speaker progress, the reading progress, the search progress though is just awesome. I think the search progress is really helping our learners learn how to complete specific searches. We know that the research and information skills aren't always the best. We know that their file naming isn't always the best. We know that there's certain aspects. So if we can use generative AI to help complete tasks that are specific to our subject area, our subject level, and the learner's ability level, that use multiple bits of generative AI all come together into the one place, then that can be another way that we can start to do things a little bit faster, a little bit speedier. If we are generating quizzes and content that are quick check-ins, not necessarily long term, but it gives us that ability to maybe do some summative assessment, to actually maybe just see how they're feeling about certain things, or just to get a glimpse of where they are. I know you guys weren't impacted as much with the snow. It was more ice for you guys, but last week, or the first week in January, we had a full week off up here in Aberdeenshire. It was just, there was quite a lot of snow. But the assignments in the classroom aspects that could be shared, they were massively beneficial, but they weren't being used. Because again, it comes down to, there's Ruth, she knows about learning accelerators, but we might not all know about learning accelerators and how they could be beneficial. I think the quiz aspect and the fact that you can generate a quiz based on a set of slides that you might have, that's hugely beneficial, especially for our certificate and national qualification classes. I think reading progress, search progress, that is definitely stuff that is going to be beneficial for our younger learners who are, and even our lower ability level pupils, and our pupils who are really struggling with self-confidence and their ability to bring things in. I think that the reading progress activity is, just a great way, where you can actually import a document you already have. But if I generate a reading passage within, let's see, within space, one of my favorite topic, for age 11, length let's go with, yeah, let's stick with that. Keep it at English, but we're going to make it English UK. And not all subjects will have English UK. Challenging words. Now you can see from my last activity, it's brought up some challenging words from where my pupils struggled. That is where generative AI just becomes hugely beneficial. Because if I know from previous assignments and it's learning from the assignments that I'm working with, if my pupils struggled with the word Atlantic or a common word that comes up, I can include it in my new passage. And that therefore means that I know words that pupils were struggling with, if they start to see it in different contexts, then that can be massively beneficial to them. So that could be quite a good passage. So there we go. Haha, the Atlantic Ocean. It's including that word. Let's use the passage. Number of tries, genre, non-fiction, enter reading level. Don't need to worry. Add comprehension. Yes, that's a new feature. And let's generate questions using AI. 3 questions. And this is where it could be, hugely beneficial. It's giving me a quiz to go with it. It's reviewing it. Look, this is the quiz feature that was built in to the teach. This can now come up here because it's giving me my suggestions at the top. So as I've said with all of this, and we're coming towards the end of the session, as I have said with all of this, it is not just one app. It's not just one feature. It's not just one tool being used. It is all of them being used together. It is all being used in a way that is going to make this more engaging. It's going to help get better feedback. It's going to help our learners feel that they are progressing, that they are updating, and it really just becomes a hugely beneficial tool to use. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to tap next, giving me the quiz at the end. Space comprehension. Read this passage and answer the questions. So for those of us who already have content, this is another way that we could get our Word documents to generate a quiz and a reading passage coming together. Remember to focus on your struggling words. Okay. If I need to, I could adjust that. I could put it to all students, but if I just put it to an individual student, that individual student is Eva, because she struggled with some of those comprehension words. Let's assign that, and let's put the reflect, because I want to see how she feels. Let's assign that. There we go. That's AI has let me see where that pupil was struggling. It's now allowed me to generate a new task that will allow her to practice on the words she struggled with, including a quiz that she can answer and take things back. Right, folks, there's 5 minutes to go. Right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen there and just come back to this. I know we have a bit of face-to-face coming up in the next few months, but is there any area that you guys feel like we need to do a bit more detail? Ruth, but that there are a couple of things, but it's whether it would be the perfect thing. And I want to make sure that we're using tools that are safe to use and tools that you have readily available to you. Okay. Ruth.
Excellent. Thank you, Martin. Another amazing session as ever. I always come away totally buzzing and ready to start trying out new things. One of the thing that Pam wanted me to speak about is our AI tool showcase that we've got coming up on the 25th of March. Now, we're asking for volunteers basically just to come along and share one of the things that you've maybe learned about from Martin that you've been using in your classrooms and the impact that's had on the learners. It doesn't need to be a big long presentation. We're talking Teach Meet style, just a couple of minutes. So we're looking for volunteers, so it doesn't just have to be Pam and I in a series of disguises like moustaches and glasses and all of that. So the more people we can get along to share what they've been using in their classrooms, the better. And you will get a nice little shiny graphic badge that we are designing for you to put at the bottom of your emails to say that you are an AI champion educator. So woo! It's on the 25th of March at Arkleston Learning Hub. So if you would be interested in sharing something, we'd be delighted to have you along. So you can just drop me an email or you can drop Pam an email to let her know as well. That'd be fantastic. Thank you so much for your time this evening. And I hope to hear from some of you about sharing at the AI Tools Showcase. Thank you.
What time
That's
is
me.
that,
It's
Ruth? Someone's asking.
3:30. Sorry, it's 3:30 till 5 on Wednesday, the 25th of March. Thanks, Graham.
Brilliant. Well, with that, that's 1:30 on the dot. So I know I said I would maybe give you 5 minutes back, but I didn't. I did stop with 5 minutes to go, but it was to answer questions. But hopefully that has been of use to you for a dreich and miserable Wednesday night. But yeah, just thank you very much for your time. Thanks very much for your input. Thanks very much for still being awesome. And we'll see you all soon. Take care.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks. Good night.